in more than just music. I mean, you're a multi-talented guy, you know. Do you find it easier maybe in your music than in your acting? Or I mean, is there anything that you feel, does it feel different in different spheres?
In acting, there's always, I mean, I'm a young black actor, so I've been very fortunate to be able to do the type of work that I've done and I'm doing at this point. I just don't want to tell. I don't want to tell stories or portray characters that are not that interesting, or that are just for the sake of increasing your career profile. There's got to be something in it that is dynamic.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to do especially as a young black actor. I mean, after you get past a certain age or so, you can do all the interesting stuff now.
Yeah.
After you're past a certain sexual prime, they're like, oh, my daughter's not gonna look at you and wanna, you know, put your poster on her wall and daydream about you. But when you're young, in your 20s, early 30s, I think that's the time where you wanna play, and you have the opportunity to play really interesting, dynamic, well-rounded characters. And traditionally, they just keep these guys on this real kind of horse and pony. You know, you're playing the love interest or the villain.
Yeah.
And I'm not really interested in that. So
I was gonna say, thanks for doing
I
that.
just I try to do the stories that I like, even if they're not so well executed sometimes. And to work with the people that I admire, and I think have something to offer, something to say. And movies are a crapshoot. You know, you take a risk. You say, this looks like this on the page, but when we get it on its feet, it may be great. And it gets to the editing room, it may be something completely different. There's so many hands that touch a film project that you just try to follow your intuition, do the best work you can, and then just go, okay, moving on.
Yeah.
And that's where the impulse comes when people say, well, I'm just going to get the money because I can always do another film.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is very tempting, too, because if you kind of just say, okay, this is not about me and my personal views, I'm going to portray these characters that have nothing to do with me, I have no connection to them, really. You're going to pay me a handsome fee, I'm going to climb a little bit up the ladder, and then at some point, when I've elevated far enough, then I can do my own thing.
Yeah.
Which is a method. It's not, I'd rather be about that all the way.
Yeah.
So that it's never any surprise or some sort of departure, that it's just like you've always been about.
Because you might lose your street cred then. I mean,
it's not even about the street cred. I might not have any fun. I mean, you know, this is art. It's supposed to make you happy.
Yeah.
You know, you're supposed to feel good about it. I mean, at least that's why I started doing it. There's a certain level of joy that can come out of it, and that's what I try to go to. Is the joy, like not the gratification of people saying, "Oh, you were awesome, you were great," or everybody's seeing your movie. It's just like the joy of it, the challenge of it as well. As the career shit is like, you know, that fame, that critical mass fame moment has an egg timer on it anyway.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's like you're the prom queen or king for one day.
Yeah.
You can't wear the tiara around every day.
I was prom king.
You know what I'm saying? But you changed your clothes since then. You know
I lost my trophy, I think.
Yeah, and there's an impulse that after you're the prom king to want to be the prom king every year and to maintain that. And it's just, it takes too much energy for me and it's just not that interesting. I don't have that type of ambition. I make a good living, I make a decent living, and I do work that I like. And sometimes it's not that easy, but that, so what?
You gotta be able to sleep at night.
You be able to look at yourself, even if it's better to do something that you care about that doesn't turn out well.
Sure, of course.
Because even if it doesn't turn out well, you can go, well, I gave it a shot. I did my best.
I was trying.
It's worse when you do something that you don't really care about. And either if it turns out well, you don't respect the people who admire it because you're like, this is shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not able to accept the praise that I'm receiving from it really comfortably in myself because I know that this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And then if it fails, you feel even worse. And then you didn't have a good time. Generally, the things that you don't care about, you don't have a good time doing.
Yeah.
And you're not that good at them. I just don't think you can excel at something that you really don't care about. You can for a while, but you can't sustain it.
No, of course.
It's very interesting the thing about keeping truth to yourself, because we read that book, the Nelson George book, called Soul Nation. That was explaining what happened during the 80s to all the African American politics and how did they go from Black Panthers to, nothing. Because, it was all about, in the 80s, it was all about success and money and, all the big, they made the people like Eddie Murphy, Oprah Winfrey, all like big stars. And the value was, we're black, but we're like you, like that.
Right.
And so people, they were not true to themselves and their values anymore.
And
so
became
everything became how do you say, but
depoliticized.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you had on the opposite end of the spectrum, and not even on the opposite end, kind of like in the twilight of that, in the middle, you have a guy like Spike Lee, who has a wide appeal without even having wide commercial success per se.
Yeah.
But he's speaking effectively to his center.
Yeah.
And he's prolific.
Yeah.
So he becomes as well known a name as any other filmmaker or any black star without that type of multi-million-dollar success, which speaks again to my belief that if you are the change, if you are really invested in trying to become the change that you want to see in the world, the people will find you.
Yeah.
Especially now when the world is smaller than it's ever been. I mean, all of these different advents of technology are designed to make the world a little smaller. The telephone, the television, radio, film, they condense the world. So now, I think there should be less anxiety, and given that the mammoth that the internet is, there's less fear. There's less anxiety that I have about people being able to get the message. You have people getting known for just doing earnest, silly things in the privacy of their homes that people connect to on some level. Like the guy that did the Numa Numa song? It's just a guy in front of his webcam at home, and he's just jamming out to this ridiculous song. And he films himself doing it, and it becomes a viral video, and then millions upon millions of people start doing their version of what he did.
Yeah.
This is a guy that was just at home with a web camera. He's a phenomenon of some sort now. So it's like, that's just a guy just doing something frivolous and fun. I got arrested in front of Radio City. They wrote about it one way in the press, in the papers. But then I can go to YouTube, and there were people who were there with their telephone cameras.
Yeah, I've seen that,
who uploaded it themselves. So this whole notion of like, Big Brother is watching you, everybody's watching everyone.
Yeah, works the other way as well. No?
there's an opposite effect that it has. It's like the press and as effective they were at one time in shaping popular opinion.
Yeah.
They still are, but less and less every day.